It's time for a brand new edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. This time I talk with Jeff Fenster from Everbowl, and he talks about what it's like to be a serial entrepreneur. Hey there, and welcome to another edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. I'm your host, Kirby Hassman, and joining me today, I'm so excited, just got introduced to Jeff. He's the CEO and founder of Everbowl and so many more companies. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Jeff Fenster, thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much. It's really a privilege to be on your show. Big fan and really enjoy everything in your content. So thank you so much. It's truly an honor.
Thanks, man. It means a lot. So, I want to jump right in. I mean, you are a serial entrepreneur in the purest sense of the word. I was looking at your LinkedIn profile and stalking you a bit. And let's see, you've got Everbowl, Super Fuel Coffee, and there's just a bunch more that you've been a part of. It has to be tough to stay on top of everything. So how do you stay on top of each of these companies and what's going on and make sure that things keep rolling?
Great question. It's truly a business principle of mine to be the dumbest guy in the room. And what I mean by that is to surround myself with amazing people. And it's truly the team we have in all of the companies and how we all work together. I pride myself on being educated and learning as much as I can on everything I do and setting a good vision. But it's truly about attracting remarkable superstars and putting them in a position to be successful and work together. And fortunately, they are the reason that I'm able to stay on top of anything and we're able to get things done.
Yeah, that's having the right team is just so powerful. I actually heard recently somebody called it, instead of CEO, it should be Chief Vision Officer. If you can provide the vision and then you've got a great team that executes, that can make a difference. So with multiple companies, you have many multiple interests. How do you know when to explore an idea for a business? And I'm curious if you see a common theme in your ventures.
So I don't have a common theme. When I'm starting something from scratch, it's usually because I've recognized a problem in an industry or an opportunity in an industry, and I like to start companies. So when I see an opportunity, I kind of jump. But when I have multiple companies running at once, it's really utilizing a vertical integration of multiple startups to solve my business problems. Okay. So, for example, WeBuild, which is our construction arm, was formed to build Everbowls because I needed to build a lot of Everbowls. And it would cost much to build them by going to third-party construction companies. So because I knew I was scaling the company and being an entrepreneur, I was like, well, my strength is starting companies. Let's start a company to solve my problem of I needed to reduce the cost to build. And Super Fuel Coffee was an extension of Everbowl because we wanted to get acai into more people's bodies and make it more available and accessible to everybody. And I can't open stores everywhere fast enough. So making a shelf-stable version and combining it with coffee really opened that up to everybody because the masses drink coffee. And so our unique selling proposition is you drink coffee every day, but you don't always eat superfoods. Why not drink superfoods with your coffee? And so it allows us to expand the Everbowl brand and what we're trying to do outside of the four walls of our stores and make it available and accessible to anyone, anywhere, because now we can sell on Amazon and on online marketplaces as well. So it really opens the availability for me to connect and introduce the Everbowl kind of aura and what we're all about made from stuff that's been around forever to everybody.
I love it. That's super interesting. I love the idea that you're creating companies that help your companies. So that's super smart. So when it comes to entrepreneurs, and I'm an entrepreneur as well, I am always fascinated by inspiration. So because look, I think most entrepreneurs are fairly energetic. We have an archetype, right? But for the best of us, the grind can sometimes wear us down. So I'm constantly looking for new sources of inspiration, something to lift me up. So where do you find inspiration to keep up on the grind?
Well, so I might be a little bit different, but I'm a big quotes guy. I get inspired by quotes. I get inspired by others and stories. The grind to me has never really been something that has weathered me because the goal, I want the goal so much that the path to get there and the journey, I enjoy it. I think the grind is where opportunity comes. Problems are usually disguised. Problems are there, and what most people see are problems, but actually it's opportunities that are disguised as problems. And so when you have problems, it's actually a great opportunity to look inside and say, hey, what other opportunities are here? Like a problem. It cost me too much to build a restaurant.
Yeah.
And the grind was, how am I going to raise more money to do that? And how are we going to, but then the opportunity was, well, let's build another company that can solve that and bring in more amazing people and scale that way. And that creates new problems, which then creates new opportunities, but it also creates, the grind for me is always, it's there, it's constant, but it's not a repetitive thing where I feel like degraded. So my inspiration truly comes, I mean, a lot of it from within, just because I'm a self-starter and that's my strengths, but I definitely utilize third-party quotes. I share a quote a day on my social media for those who follow me, because I believe it's phenomenal to help each other. We're in this together. I don't believe in competition. I love the saying, a rising tide lifts all boats. And so as a fellow entrepreneur, I'm here to help you on your dog days. And if you have inspiration for me, I want it and share, because we lift each other up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, because I think that there's so much scarcity mindset running around, and you don't build abundance from that. So I'm with you. So real quick, and I'm going off script a little bit, so I apologize, but I'm curious. Talk to me a little bit more about Everbowl, and I'm just curious about why you decided to create that company.
I wanted to create Everbowl because I looked at Americans specifically, even though our ambitions might exceed America at some point. And I looked at, we are killing ourselves with our lifestyle and what we eat and how we don't move our body. And you look at what medical research is showing in the obesities, heart disease, strokes, cancers, and the high rate of disease in America, 82 or 83% of it, they say, is lifestyle, which means it's self-inflicted in some capacity. Yeah. And I asked myself why. My two biggest passions outside of my family is healthy living and entrepreneurship. And so I was like, well, these are my two biggest passions. I'm a bit of a hypochondriac. I'm afraid of disease. I've been eating superfoods forever. Why aren't more people doing it? And I realized there's 4 excuses we make in America as to why we don't eat healthy. And those are, it either costs too much to eat healthy, it doesn't taste good, it doesn't leave you full and satisfied, or you can't get it. It's not accessible. You live somewhere or you work somewhere where you have only a small amount of time to eat, and there's just fast food options. And then you look at the average American eats fast food 3.8 times a week. So I had an aha moment, which is, if I could create healthy food that's affordable, filling, accessible, and delicious, I should be able to get people to eat healthy every single time and help people be healthier and be their best self, which is something that is, inspirational to me, and it's a passion of mine. And so I started Everbowl to basically solve the eating movement under the overarching why, which is unevolved. And it's a word we created and trademarked, and it's an unevolved lifestyle. It's basically a modern version of Livestrong, if you will, but it's the lifestyle side of what we're doing. And it's simply, the definition of unevolved is to move and eat the way you were meant to. Live actively and eat stuff that's been around forever. And so Everbowl is the eating side. That's where we're going to promote healthy eating. I want to make it accessible to everybody, help you eat nutritionally dense superfoods, so you can be your best self. You can not have the diseases. You can look good. You can feel good. And then you'll perform good in all walks of life. And we're going to raise the bottom instead of always trying to raise the top. And so that was my bigger why as to what started Everbowl.
Cool. That's great, man. I wish you the best. I'm excited about it, and sort of excited to learn more. So you've answered all my questions plus one, so I appreciate that. I give everybody a chance to ask me one question. Do you have one for me?
I sure do. So I'm a big why guy. For me, it's I care less about what people do and more why they do it. So my question to you is, why do you do this? Why do you interview entrepreneurs like myself? What is your bigger why here, and what is your overarching goal?
Yeah, that's a super good question. So, selfishly, the 2 selfish reasons are, number one, I knew that I wanted to create content, and I like the idea of having a shared platform. So you have an audience, I have an audience. This is a way for us to, as you said, rise all boats, right? And then, the other selfish reason is I really, truly feel like I get to go to school once a week, because I'm literally talking to some of the brightest minds as entrepreneurs, marketers, salespeople, whatever. And so, but the why piece is just to provide those 2 kind of avenues to an audience that really started, mostly as my customer base, but has grown. So just to, again, provide that inspiration and hopefully help lift people up.
Well, that's a great why.
Cool. Thanks, man. Well, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time. Good luck with all of your ventures, and we'll have to do this again sometime, okay?
Absolutely. And thank you again for having me. So excited that I got this opportunity, and I really look forward to talking again soon.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.